have the pleasure of speaking with Frank Braunschweig and Bruno Abreu. Frank is the Director of Product Management, Water Infrastructure at Bentley Systems, where he leads the team responsible for the OpenFlows product line. And Bruno is the co-founder and CEO of SCUBIC. He founded SCUBIC in 2017 as a monitoring and control decision support platform for water utilities. Bentley Systems and SCUBIC have recently presented their collaboration to help utilities through the power of data science, hydraulic modeling, and digital twins at the IFAT trade fair held last week in Munich. Today, we'll hear about this partnership and how Bentley's WaterSight digital twin and SCUBIC's artificial intelligence can help attain net zero carbon targets. Hello, Frank and Bruno. Welcome, and thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you very much also for this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'll go ahead and start with the questions. Bentley Systems and SCUBIC are joining forces to support water utilities to optimize their operations. Can you tell us about this collaboration?
Frank, do you want to start?
Yeah. So we as Bentley System, we are developing new solutions to manage water distribution and water collection systems. And these type of solutions are based on digital twins and integrate data and information from multiple systems. So this integration enables them to get better insights and make better decisions. While we're developing as in Bentley these type of solutions, there's always a last mile where these solutions have to be implemented and domain expertise is needed so that these can then really bring the value to utilities. And here comes SCUBIC into place. They have a lot of domain expertise and capabilities to implement these type of solutions. So SCUBIC is one of our first partners to do this type of things, specifically with emphasis in Europe and Latin America.
Yes, well, I think Frank explained very, very well our partnership. This partnership began some, let's say, 1.5 years ago during the pandemic, which was nice, independently of us not being together, but it worked fine. Also, like Frank explained, nowadays we see that utilities want to install this type of solutions, these digital twins. One of the issues sometimes it's the data. It's never beautiful. It's never clean. It has some problems. Also, the water utilities sometimes miss the human skills. Well, the human power with the right skills to implement this type of solution. So we came together and do this connection between the amazing solutions that Bentley does and the water utilities to help them to install this and to put everything to work. Of course, we have other type of relationships to build also new ideas, and again, always to help the water utilities to digitalize and to take power of data, which nowadays data is the new commodity, and we need to have these amazing solutions working with real-time data to get the extent of value from that data, and of course providing our clients with solutions for them to provide better service for their clients, which is us in our homes.
Okay, thank you. That was a good introduction to get us started. So how does artificial intelligence combine with digital twin technology to enhance the performance of infrastructure?
Frank, do I start with this one?
Yeah,
okay.
go ahead.
So let me demystify a little bit the word artificial intelligence, because nowadays we see artificial intelligence everywhere. And artificial intelligence, it's a huge thing with many different solutions that can be applied to everything. Going back to the water utilities, I was explaining, water utilities everywhere are digitalizing their networks, even their service. The problem is sometimes we get the huge amount of data that these sensors generate. It's very, very big. And again, creating the extended value with that data has proven to be very, very difficult and a very complex problem. And again, we are dealing with critical networks, which is water networks. So we have to be very careful how we use that data to create the value to the clients. Going back to the artificial intelligence, I normally like to say what we build are intelligent systems, which is a mix between artificial intelligent models, but also optimization modules that goes back 70, 80 years ago. But the combination of data, artificial intelligence, optimization algorithms, that's what makes an intelligent system. And that is where we can create the extended value with that data. What we have seen, again, with the real-time data is that most of the water distribution systems and also sewer systems can be optimized in terms of energy costs, but also increase the labor productivity. And theirs is where, again, the intelligent systems, or if you prefer, the artificial intelligent solutions can really help their clients. Again, to reduce their costs, improve labor productivity, increase network security, deal with data problems, because in a perfect world, data, it's very clean, there is no problems with data, but when you go to the real world, that doesn't happen. So we really need to develop these algorithms to clean the data, put the data working properly with these tools from Bentley. And so, again, we can create the extended value of the data and improve our clients' service. But yeah, that's where these amazing advanced algorithms are really pushing and improving their networks and their service that water utilities are providing. Yeah, Frank, I don't know what you want to add a little bit more.
No, I think that was already very well stated and resumed. Maybe to add also that combining artificial intelligence or algorithms from artificial intelligence together with hydraulic models is something we do and really benefits water utilities. So you can use both things together to run scenarios and to use both combined to optimize the way water utilities manage their systems, being it for reducing energy costs or other things. So they play very well hand in hand.
Exactly. It's the combination of the different solutions that's nowadays we have to do it, because there is a lot of different technologies on the market. The difficult part is to combine them and how to combine them and to put this working in real time, or 50 minutes real time, 30 minutes real time, because having solutions that just give you what you should do in 1 month, 2 months time, it is good for designing networks, planning networks, but when you get to the daily operations, you need this type of solutions working properly in real time. And the combination of, like Frank was saying, the digital twin, the AI algorithms, the optimization algorithms, the real-time data, that's what our partnerships and our solution does, and that's where our expertise in. And this is how we really believe that we can create, again, very good value to our clients.
Okay, thank you. So one of the things that water utilities are also looking to, they're increasingly committing to net zero carbon targets. So how can this combination of solutions that you're talking about, these intelligent systems with digital twins and artificial intelligence, can help them achieve these objectives?
Well, that's a very tricky question, because we always going to need, I normally say we need water to produce energy, but we also need a lot of energy to produce water. So it's unless somebody invent the wheel again, which I don't believe they will. Well, I hope someone does, but based on my expertise, I don't know any technology that can do that. It's going to be very, very difficult. What we at SCUBIC, and again, also with Bentley, we are thinking, again, it's the combination of different systems. When we see that water utilities need a lot of energy, the question is where that energy comes from. If it comes from solar panels, wind turbines, biogas, it doesn't matter, but combining the different energy, let's call it providers, or solution providers of energy, together with increasing the efficiency of the pumps, pumping the pumps, working in the perfect, based on the pump curve, which the perfect efficiency, that is where we can really help the utilities achieve that goal. But again, there is no one solution that will gonna solve all the problems. That doesn't exist, but the combination of, again, where the energy comes from, how we can optimize the distribution of water from the source until the end consumer, how we can improve this, again, improving labor efficiency and water security, reducing the fails of the networks or the lack of water. Again, we can really help them improve their systems, reduce their carbon footprint, and again, help them achieve the net zero carbon. But again, there is no one solution fits all. It's like the previous question. It's a combination of different ways that we can help them. We have seen this with one project that we have, that the clients have installed a lot of solar panels, and the question is how to deal with the energy that is being produced, because sometimes I have energy that is being produced, but I don't need to pump water because the reservoirs are full. What we need to think is that probably we pump water before needing it. If we are producing energy, we should pump water when we are producing energy and not before that. So, but this can change from a sunny day to the next day it's raining, so the energy that you are being produced, it's less. I'm talking about solar panels, but with wind turbines, it's exactly the same philosophy. And again, putting this to work, it's very, very tricky, and it requires this type of solutions. But yeah, Frank?
Yeah, no, but a little bit to help here, to say that the solutions we are building and implementing together, and Bentley is developing, are going towards this to help utilities to optimize these things Bruno just mentioned. So, right? So we know that, okay, tomorrow we need water. When should we pump it? Tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon? So if I combine in my systems, not only demand forecast, but also, for example, meteorological forecast, I know better when more energy will be available at a lower cost. And so then I can schedule the pump operation according to this. So this type of systems we are developing are going towards this, helping utilities to reduce actually the carbon footprint. Reduce and going towards zero. So yeah, Bruno also mentioned more and more utilities are installing their own solar panels also, and so an objective can become more achievable, right? It's not saying you will achieve from today until tomorrow, but over the next years, if you expand the way you manage your energy, the way you produce energy, you can really do good steps towards carbon neutrality. And we even have one of our users, he has a goal of being carbon negative by 2030. So
yeah, it is very difficult. The other thing I forget, and just to add, is the connection between the water utilities and the energy utilities. Even energy utilities, they are producing clean energy, but again, you have sun between the 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. on the afternoon. So if we can connect water utilities with the energy utilities can tell the water utilities, please consume this energy because we are producing a lot of energy due to renewables. And with this, again, when we calculate the KPIs by the end of the month, you mentioned, yes, you are consuming energy from the grid, but that energy is completely clean because it comes from renewables. So putting these two utilities talking, which normally they don't talk with each other, it's also one thing that we can really help with our solutions. And again, try to achieve the net zero carbon until 2030. But it comes again, there is no one solution fits all. It's a combination of different solutions that we're going to achieve those goals. But they are feasible. They are feasible.
Okay, so that's good news.
And it is a journey.
Yeah.
I used to say it is a journey. It's not nothing you start and implement today and you have a solution tomorrow. So you start with digitalization, you start implement digital twins, you start this journey, and then over time you will see the benefits. So and the sooner you start, the sooner you will arrive to your destiny.
Yeah, of course. And how can, well, digital twins, or well, I should say this combination of solutions that you offer, can they be adapted to specific needs? For example, when utilities have to deal with infrastructure assets that are old, that are near the end of their life cycle.
Frank, do you want to start with this?
Yeah, sure. We have inside our solutions, we have things for what you call capital planning modules, where you can easily understand and plan what type of assets are in the end of the life cycle. Because I give an example of, for example, the piping network, and you can see, okay, these pipes which have been installed by this constructor, which have this type of materials, are used to break a lot. So maybe it's a good time to replace them, and you put this together with information from work order management system and other type of data. So combining all this information in the digital twin can help and guide utilities to make this type of decisions. This applies to all type of assets.
Yeah, well, I will add again with since energy it's one of our specialties. When you look to pumps, they lose efficiency every year. Between 1% and 2%. So, but by knowing that and adapting how we work with those pumps, again, we can extend the life cycle of those pumps, of course, but again, also identify in real time that a specific pump is losing efficiency, so some maintenance work need to be done even before the pump just break. So knowing that also helps again extend the life cycle of the pumps, but also let's say it predicts any failure before they occur. And when failures occurs, normally you have problems on the networks. So again, combining the data, like Frank was saying, the capital planning capabilities of Bentley Solutions, we can really help the water utilities first identify what the problem is, probably try to solve without having a direct intervention on the assets, but finally say, yeah, you need to substitute that pipe, you need to substitute that pump, you have problems with the pressure management on the network. Just knowing where the problem is the first step to solve that problem. So that's our solutions can really help the water utilities on that also.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Before you talked about also that many different partners are involved. I mean, in when you combine all these systems, are there data security and confidentiality issues, and how can they be addressed?
Great question. Well, and that depends from country to country, so from continent to continent. Well, I'm going to talk. For me, it's a number. I don't know which the address of their meter, where it is. I just need to know where the number of the meter, what it's measuring it, and deal with that. Normally, I don't have the address from where that meter is, and I don't want it. Of course, integrating this with GIS, which is very important, and I think Frank can tell a little bit of detecting the leakage. Of course, we need to know where the data comes from, so we can identify the leakage and alert the water utilities to solve that problem. But again, the systems, I normally say the systems are blind. They don't want to have the address. Of course, sometimes they have the GPS location where it is, but in our case, with the properly NDA sign, with the data being secure servers, being the water utility or Amazon, Microsoft or even Google. That can really, again, put some level of confidentiality, because we probably know where the leakage is, but I don't really need to deal with all the data that come from each individual house. Sometimes we just need, we have a problem on that street, and just by identifying that is on that street, we can apply the maintenance people to go there and try to detect the leakage and solve it. But again, it's dealing sometimes with the problems with streets or neighborhoods, and not go into details with every people home. But of course, if with more data, I think our solutions get better and better. But we have to be very careful with the confidentials and not getting in the people's life. Because with water data, we can detect a lot of things. We know when people are home, when they wake up. We know that part. But again, it's at least between SCUBIC and Bentley, we simply, it's not we don't care about that, but it's one thing that we have to be very careful how to deal with. But again, depends from country to country, right, Frank?
Yeah, of course. We see we have different rules in different countries, which we of course apply to. Like for example, in Germany and in Europe, the GDPR. So all the systems we are building, they're safe and secure. And I say this, backing this up by that we have as partner Microsoft, which hosts all solutions. So we comply all the security standards Microsoft is imposing, and at the same time we also have our internal huge IT department which is looking for security. So one thing we face a lot when we speak with utilities is that they are concerned that we will move some of the data to the cloud. So many times data sits on their facilities on premise, and our solution is a cloud-based native solution. So to overcome security issues, the very first thing we do is that we do not open any entry to their premises. So all communication we do is outbounding traffic. That means there's no ports to be open to enter their system. So this is an additional security. And also, it is somehow required if we want people to work remotely from home office post-COVID, right, and access the system, they have to do something. So then the question always comes: is it better to trust Microsoft Azure environment, which have a huge IT and security department for everything secured, or some, let's say, local IT guys from a water utility where maybe 2 or 3 people working on IT security? Probably it's much more secure trusting a company like Microsoft, which have everything in place. And so we put these things there secure, then opening something on premise so that workers from the utility can access that data. So this is something we face very often, but very easily it's understandable that it's actually more secure putting things on the clouds and hosting them on premise.
It's a change of mindset, which never it's easy on one of the oldest industries in the world. So we manage water since prehistory. So changing those mindsets sometimes take a little bit longer, but I agree with Frank. I trust more Amazon than any water utility, Amazon or Microsoft, doesn't matter, than any water utility IT department. I think they are more experts on that.
Yeah, and adding to this regarding security concerns, like that we could theoretically through smart meters understand when people wake up and take showers, this type of data is completely hidden. Our system, we never have access to this personal patterns. This is already secured. That this is completely unallowed for us to get this type of access.
I was just making an example, but like, we don't want to deal with that. It's such a amount of data that we have to deal on a daily basis that if you go to those details, we will not do anything with our lives. But anyway, it's that mindset that need to be changed. That's it.
And do you find that those changes, changing in mindset, are occurring the same in different countries, or is it are different regions, evolving differently, or slower or faster?
Now, I think it's very much, it doesn't depend so much on the region. I think it depends a lot on the type of persons you find in given utilities. There's some which are going through a process of renovation of workforce. So people already, younger people's moving in, already used to get all the information at the fingertips on their smartphone. They're much more open for this type of changes. Actually, they're not open. They're almost expecting this to happen, right? While you have maybe some older workforce, they do it more the classical way. They like to write down things on the paper and then pass something to digital from time to time only. So they may be a little bit more resistant. But I think this will be a natural change. As the younger generations move in, why should they be able to have access to weather forecasts on the smartphone and don't have access to the same forecast for the water distribution system on the smartphone also? So it's
very good example, Frank. Very good example.
Yes, true. Okay. Now I would like to ask you about resilience. How can all these digital technologies help mitigate the risks that extreme weather events and climate change might bring upon us in the future or right now?
Yeah, so if we go back to the definition of digital twins, we're talking about, so the digital twin for us is a virtual representation of the real world. And so having all this in the digital twin allows you then also to model the processes of the real world in this virtual environment. So this helps you to become more resilient because you can manage your entire system a little bit more proactive than reactive. So, for example, if you have a big pipe break, in order to understand what you have to do, what valves you have to close, which households are affected, if you have everything in place in the digital twin, it's with 2 or 3 clicks, you get an answer. If you have a system up and running, which takes into consideration weather forecasts for your storm drainage, you know already upfront, okay, there's something happening, and most likely in this part of the city tomorrow, I will have some problems. So let's put some pre-work in place, do some cleaning, maybe close some streets. So having all this in place will definitely help you to become more resilient. Also in context of these events like flooding or strong rain events, which are related with climate change.
Yeah, well, climate change, and only that the water that we have on our planet, it's the same for the last 4 billion years. The problem is that water changed from one place to the other. And that's gonna happen for the next billion years. The problem is how to deal with that. Of course, climate change has a huge impact of that and accelerates that change of where the water is. And what worked like 5 years ago doesn't work anymore today. So with this, like Frank was saying, with this digital twin, with these solutions, we can do a lot of scenarios training and to see how we deal with these different scenarios and how we can, again, the operators can deal with that, again, almost in real time, because of course climate change doesn't change from one day to the other. It's a process, but we need to be prepared because it is here. And if you look to Southern Europe, Spain, Portugal, they are having huge droughts. So and we really need to help them fight those things, better manage their water source and their water availability, and of course we can this type of solutions helps a lot. Before that, you ask about resilience, how we can make these networks more resilient. I was seeing one project that this is on Brazil in South America, where they have a lot of energy failures during the day, and most of them, not most of them, some of them are due to huge rainfalls, all of that. But when you don't have energy, you cannot pump water. But when energy comes, you have, like, imagine 5 or 6 reservoirs, all of them connected together. And the first question is, which one should we pump first water? Because all of them depend from each other. Of course, you have very experienced workers that sometimes knows, but I sometimes trust more in algorithms that will say we need to pump first for that reservoir, get filled, and then this one and this one and this one and so on and so on. So, and with this, we can improve the resilience of their systems because they know that they have a tool that if something happens, it will help them make those decisions, again, to create a more resilient systems, to address these problems immediately, and finally help them fight these impacts of climate change. And again, it can be floods, wildfires, many different problems that climate change are affecting. And again, what worked 5 years ago doesn't work today. And you can see that, of course, depends where you are in the world, but you can see that in many places in the world.
Okay. So you just mentioned that case study in Brazil. I was going to ask you about case studies, if you had examples. It's when you talked about resilience, but yes, in general, improving the efficiency, the resilience, the sustainability of water system operations with this intelligent system, with the digital twins. If you would like to mention any other examples.
Yeah, maybe I can go first.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so one of the places we very first implemented this type of solution was actually here in Portugal, in Porto, in the city of Porto. So they combined overall of like 22 different systems into one single digital twin solution, and now this is used throughout the entire company. So from engineering, planning, and operations. So Águas do Porto, they're responsible for water distribution, but also for collection of stormwater and sewer, and also for water quality in the receiving waters. So we implemented a full digital twin solution for them, including hydraulic models, and everything is connected. They implemented a new control system. They now are able to have all this information available in the control system, but also on handheld devices by their workers in the field, or if people are working from home, they have access to the same information. So, and they see huge benefits in their operations. So as I have some numbers, I don't have them here at my fingertips, but they see gains in efficiency, in energy consumption, in a lot of KPIs. They see a lot of benefits. So this was still ongoing, actually. So we implemented this during a period of 2 years, and now we have like a maintenance phase to enhance the system while they're operating it and do some minor adjustments here and there. And so it's still, it's ongoing and it's been very successful. So this is one case we have here in Europe. We have others, but maybe Bruno, if you want to.
Yeah, well, Águas do Porto, I know very well that company. They do an amazing work, and now that they are connecting water and energy, I think, well, again, to fight or to get to the 2030 net zero goal, they are doing a really amazing work. Yeah, what to SCUBIC, again, pushing a little bit. Just explaining what we do. We also pick on Bentley hydraulic modeling, all of those tools that we also use, and put the AI, the optimization with real time. In one of our case, well, we have 2 of them here in Portugal. Our biggest one, it's in Brazil. Of course, it's a Bentley client. And we pick their hydraulic modules and again, connect with the energy providers. So how we can reduce this energy costs and energy consumption, which is 2 different things, because energy doesn't have the same price during the day. It changes. So sometimes you can increase energy consumption, but reduce the energy costs by the end of the month. So it's let's call it's a tricky thing, but it's a combination of these tools that we're going to achieve the net zero carbon goal to our clients. And just combining these hydraulic modules with AI and optimization algorithms. In one of our last project, we were able to reduce 15% on the energy cost by the end of the month, which, as you can imagine, it's very happy clients. Of course, one of our clients in Portugal, exactly going to say similar project. I remember on the second month that we were there, we reached a 21% reduction. It was a very, very happy client because the good part of connecting this AI optimization modeling that all comes from Bentley and again with SCUBIC is that the clients can see the return on investment, which is very, very important nowadays. It's not just investing in technology, it's to see how this technology can reduce our OpEx or CapEx costs by the end of the month and how these return on investments can be very helpful. Nowadays, you can see a lot of solutions on the market, but they always ask, what is the return on investment for us as consumers in our homes and also for the water utilities? And again, I really believe, well, I don't believe, I have the numbers to prove that the combination of hydraulic modules, this real-time data with optimization, AI, we can really, really reduce this to our clients. Or if you prefer, have solutions that have a high return on investment to our clients. But again, we have this case in Brazil, we have some cases here in Portugal. Águas do Porto, it's one of the best cases. They are doing an amazing job over the last years. But again, the good part is that we manage water in the same way in any country in the world. So what applies to Portugal or to Spain or to Brazil can be applied to everywhere in the world. Well, if you have water to manage, of course. If you go to African countries, it's not that easy. They need other type of solutions. But again, you look to Europe, we can be applying this technology in every country in Europe. US, it's like that, Canada, South America. So I don't even going to mention Asia, which again, it's exactly the same thing. But the good part is that our use case, like Frank was mentioned, in Porto can be applied in any city in the world. It's just a matter of having the right amount of data and water, of course, to deal with that.
Yeah, the problems. I used to say a water drop doesn't carry a GPS device. So the problems, of course, they're sometimes a little bit different due to some other environments or to the context. But if you go then deep, it's always the same thing, right? The objective is to deliver clean, affordable drinking water, and also, of course, to collect sewer and storm in a way that don't impact communities. And this applies everywhere, right? And the context can be a little bit different, but the processes behind this and the way you can optimize this and you can better manage this, it doesn't really depend on the geography.
Okay, well, thank you. That was very interesting to hear about those cases. And we have a last question, which is a little bit broader, more about sustainability. So Bentley has expanded its ESG commitments to embrace the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, coming up with a new term, ESDG, which would stand for Empowering Sustainable Development Goals, as an inspiration for its business purpose. I was just going to ask you a little bit in general, how can technology, digital technology, help advance infrastructure in a responsible manner?
It's a good question. It's a little bit tricky maybe to answer easily, but coming back, and I like always to come back to our digital twins, being digital twins, a virtual representation of the physical world, which are able to model all processes involved. So we can, of course, monitor and quantify like carbon emissions or the pollution of carbon emissions through this technology. And so it also then helps you to reduce this. So if you bring into our tools, which we have for all type of infrastructure, these type of functions, which allow you to quantify, monitor, and also see maybe the reduction of carbon emissions, that can be applied then throughout all all type of infrastructures. So if for pumping stations, the water business, but it can be also for other type of systems. And infrastructure is responsible for emitting quite a lot of carbon emissions.
Yeah, again, the sustainability goals, it's one thing that we need to help the utilities achieve them. And I was just seeing the a previous presentation that I made. I think with the digital twins, the AI, all these solutions that Bentley and SCUBIC provide, we can help them in 7 different sustainability goals, which is number 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 15. And the last one, which is the 17, which is partnerships for the goals. So the combination of, again, SCUBIC and Bentley together with the water utilities, we can even go to that last one. And so we are pretty well aligned with, I'm not going to say all sustainability goals, of course not, but with a lot of them, again, with the last one, and just to mention this one, which is the partnerships, that it's one of the main reasons of talking with you today. But again, is we are pretty well concerned with these sustainability goals. And again, as you can see, we are working a lot on that. But again, the combination of these digital solutions, AI, energy optimization, network distribution optimization, labor increasing, labor improving. This is how we are complying with these sustainability goals. But yeah, it was just to talk about number 17, which is partnerships, which is, I think it's perfect for this interview.
Great. Great. Well, thank you. Well, this has been very interesting. Is there anything else you would like to comment on?
Well, data, it's a new commodity. For those water utilities that still can think that they can manage their water networks as they have been doing over the last 20, 30 years, believe me, you really need to change. Otherwise, you're going to be very, let's call it, when you're going to want to change, it's going to be a little bit late, and you're really going to need to push things very fast. And normally when you push things fast, something goes bad. So for those water utilities and countries that think digitalization, it's a nice thing to have and not a must thing to have, you are wrong. You really need to push this. You really need to push this very, very fast. Anyway, like Frank was saying, this is a process. This is not one thing that's going to be solved in 1 month. It can take 2, 3 years, but you really need to start now, because climate change are there and they're not going to disappear. I know that.
Yeah, no, it's as I say, it's a journey. It's a little bit change of mindset, but the sooner you start, the sooner you get there. And there's also an additional thing which I like to remember. Sometimes I see utilities saying, "Look, but I don't have all data yet. I need to get started." I say, no, start with what you have today, because even this process will help you to reveal what type of data you should measure, where the things what you're missing. But if you wait to have the perfect data, the perfect setup to start, you will never start. Right? So let's start with what you have and improve, as this is a journey, to get everything digitalized into a digital twin, which you can use then to manage your water distribution system.
Yeah, I will add, I totally also agree with what Frank said. I remember one of our first project that one of the operators come to us and say, "I'm doing this for the last 20 years. Who are you to say how I should manage my water network?" And I say, "Please, just test for 1 week or 2 and we'll see." After 1 month, the operator was totally addicted to the solutions, that when something fails, they used to call us, "How I should manage my water network?" And I say, "Come on, you are doing this for the last 20 years. This is just another solution to help you." But they get so addicted to this because they really help, this solution really help on the daily operations, that it's very useful. So at the first they don't like it. After 2-3 weeks, they are addicted to it. So it's a matter of getting to that opportunity for try to give a chance to these solutions, and I will assure you that you will never want to go back again to the old way of doing things. But of course, experience and experienced workers never substitute any AI solutions that you have on the world. But again, combining these two, it's the perfect thing, because it's a matter of years until we have the virtual operators that will not substitute 100% the human operator, but will get the 80 or 90% of substituting these operators. Because again, it's very difficult for water utilities to acquire this labor to their workforce. So this type of solutions is one solution for that problem also. But yeah, that's it.
Okay, well, thank you. That was very powerful messages. So
Yeah,
get it started now and on that journey and give it a chance. So thank you very much. This was a very interesting discussion. And thank you for your time.
no, it was my pleasure, of course, being here. And again, you will hear about SCUBIC and Bentley partnership, I'm pretty sure, during this year and on the following years. But also, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you
I'm
very
pretty
much.
sure we will.
Thank you very much for this opportunity, for this interview, and let us know if you need some additional information later on.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good. Great.